Rollbit, the hidden champion among altcoins. When a small coin from the gambling niche suddenly steps onto the stage of the top altcoins. Rollbit, or RLB, is showing exactly that with a real use case, a deflationary token, and 5 billion in revenue. And today, I'm going to show you why, according to the data, Rollbit is a hidden champion and what's really at stake. So stick around until the end, because then I'll show you my price scenarios again, which are pretty exciting. Welcome to 10x by Marius, your channel for honest, data-driven altcoin analysis. First, let's get back to the basics. What exactly is Rollbit? Especially for those who might not know it yet, because this is a top project that's already generating revenue, something many projects in the top 50 can't achieve. But still, hardly anyone knows about it. So, what exactly is Rollbit? Rollbit is the native token of Rollbit.com, one of the largest crypto gambling platforms in the world. So basically, it's an online casino, but also includes sports betting, futures trading, NFTs, and everything combined in a unique ecosystem. Over 1 million users, more than $5 billion in betting volume, and new features added every day. That's Rollbit. But RLB isn't just another coin, it's your ticket to staking, fee discounts, and ultimately rollbacks and lottery access. So it's a utility you can actually feel, not just empty promises. Now, let's talk about the technology. Technically, it's all solid. Rollbit is built on Ethereum, so it's secure, uses proof of stake, and is efficient. 50% of all staking fees are burned. That makes the token deflationary. The max supply is 5 billion. Out of that, 2 billion are already in circulation. That means no hidden team wallets or huge risk of a dump anymore, since everything is distributed via airdrop. Fair, transparent, and deflationary. So, before we get started, as always, grab yourself a coffee, drop a like for me, and then let's go. But heads up, a disclaimer, my channel is not financial advice, it's purely for informational purposes. Let's start again with the market capitalization. Rollbit is currently sitting at around $110 million. That makes it a mid-cap altcoin, but still almost in low-cap territory. It's not too big, but also not too small. Exactly the range where huge gains have been made in the past. With real use cases and organic growth, the valuation could increase significantly. In this area, a strong 7. Next, what about the circulating supply? As already mentioned a bit, 2 out of 5 billion tokens are already in circulation. That means 40% are already out. That's above my threshold, which is a good value. Still, there's a bit of risk there. Of course, more tokens will come onto the market, but as I said, they have a deflationary mechanism here. In this area, they get a solid 7. By the way, if you want to buy altcoins, like Rollbit or other altcoins, I recommend my favorite crypto exchange. You'll even get a bonus if you sign up with my link. I'll put all the info in my pinned comment. Now let's move on to the roadmap. How strong is Rollbit, in the end, when it comes to executing the roadmap? Do they have a roadmap? Well, they don't have a classic roadmap that's public, but they're still constantly developing. They have new features, events, AI integration, NFTs. The team really delivers regular upgrades, even if they don't make it public. Because they're not completely transparent in this area, that's why only a 6 here, even though they deliver well. Now let's move on to the team. The founders are experienced in online gambling and have been active in the crypto space for years. However, the team remains anonymous. Of course, that affects trust. That's a bit problematic. But the product really speaks for itself, even though they're not completely transparent. Only a 5 here. Next, what about the narrative? Gambling, crypto, AI, NFTs, an extremely strong combination for 2025. Rollbit really captures the spirit of the times here, solves a real problem, has real users, and most importantly, they have real revenue. A top-notch narrative, clearly positioned, 8. Next point, what problem are they actually solving? Well, the world needs transparent, fast crypto in narratives with gaming platforms and, I'd say, also in casinos. Rollbit basically delivers everything in one. Casino, sports betting, trading, NFTs, a whole ecosystem that's ultimately connected through the RLB token. So, especially because of the decentralized aspect, it's extremely strong, 9. Then, what about sustainability and efficiency? As already mentioned, RLB is based on Ethereum. Since the merge, Ethereum has become 99.95% more energy efficient. So, a strong 9 here. Next, what about investors? They didn't have any VCs, no huge investors, but they're making 38 million in revenue per month, and that's organic. Of course, that reduces dependency, but it also limits their scaling power a bit. So in this area, only a 4. Next, who are Rollbit's competitors? Well, Stake.com, BC.game, and GameDom are all strong players, but Rollbit simply offers more: trading, NFTs, community tools. They're one of the few who also have their own token. So they're extremely well positioned here. A strong 8. By the way, if you want to see more altcoin analyses, check out the playlist The 10x Universe. I've linked it in the video description. I've analyzed a whole bunch of other altcoins too. That way, you can get perfectly prepared for altcoin season. Now, let's move on to marketing. What's the situation there? They have influencers, for example. They've got the FaZe clan. Anyone who knows Counter-Strike or other games definitely knows FaZe as well. And as I said, they have their own auction, armors, and challenges. So they're very active, very present, community-based, so here, a strong 8. How simple is the idea behind Rollbit? I think the concept is clear. You use RLB on the platform for bonuses, fees, and winnings. There's no complicated wallpaper or any kind of token-based circus. It's just simple and easy to understand. So here as well, a strong 8. And a question for you. Did I explain Rollbit simply enough for you at the beginning? Feel free to write it in the comments. So, what about the long-term vision? What is Rollbit's long-term vision, anyway? They want to remain the leading platform for crypto gambling. They're constantly evolving. Like I said, AI, NFTs, the utility is increasing, more and more features. They're well positioned for the future. So in this area as well, a solid 8. And the next point, what about the token? Is it deflationary? 50% of all staking fees are burned. They have a max supply, which means there's a constant reduction in circulation, which is strong. 9. Next, what about the FTV? The FTV is at 276 million, market cap at 110 million. That's a pretty healthy factor, under 3 times. So here, a 10. Then, what about the volume? Target trading volume is at 312k, market cap at 110 million, as mentioned. The ratio is at 0.0028. That's above the threshold, so here, a strong 10. Next, how was the token distribution at the start? 100% was distributed via airdrop. No team or VC locks, no OTC deals or anything like that. So that's extremely fair. A strong 9. Next, what about the top coin holders? What does that look like? The data here isn't all fully publicly available, but as already mentioned, they were distributed via an airdrop. That's probably more decentralized than many other altcoins. So in this area, a strong 8. Next, what use cases, what utility does the RLB token have? As already mentioned, the RLB token is a lottery token, but it's also used for fees, NFT access, rakeback, not just a symbolic token, but really part of the entire platform's mechanics. That means the more the mechanics are used, the more RLB is bought and the higher the price will rise. 9. Next, community. Twitter is small but active. Discord has over 30,000 members. They host events, they run challenges. The team is involved. In this area, they are well positioned. The community keeps growing. They score a 7 here. By the way, are you an RLB holder or a fan of Rollbit? Go ahead and write #RLB in the comments. Next, what events are coming up this year? There aren't any huge events on the horizon, but there are regular updates and promotions, which is extremely important to keep them visible. That's very stable, and it also creates short-term hype, but unfortunately, the big updates are still missing so far. But the question is also, how many big updates can you really do? Because I think the concept is clear. In this area, they get to 5. And then, as always, we come to the results. You know, what really surprised me about Rollbit is that the coin barely gets any attention from the broader crypto community, even though the numbers, data, and facts speak for themselves. LBL isn't a meme coin, it's not just hype, but a functioning altcoin with a real product and millions in revenue. That's what makes it strong. With the 10x formula, it achieved 76.1%. So, it's in the solid range here, but with room for improvement. As always, I'll show my 10x ranking list here. In short, they're still undervalued, but have a real use case in the growing gambling niche. A strong tokenomics, deflationary, fair distribution, strong utility, hardly any competition, but huge market opportunities. For me, it's clear, Rollbit is one of the most underrated altcoins on the market, with massive potential over the next 12 to 36 months. This isn't a quick shot here, but a coin you should definitely keep on your radar. The revenue speaks for itself. By the way, if you love in-depth analyses like this and finally want some clarity, I recommend ZANIX Elite to you. There, I'll teach you how to analyze things yourself in the end. But you'll also get full access to my ZANIX ranking list. Especially if you want to prepare for the altcoin season, it's perfect, because you have everything at a glance there, my complete analyses with percentage scores. This way, you can calmly look at everything, read up on it all, check out the data, and then decide for yourself which altcoins belong in your portfolio. But ZANIX Elite has a lot more to offer. Take a look at everything. I've put all the info in my pinned comment, and right now you even get a 30% bonus. So don't miss out on this. Alright, as always, let's move on to the price scenarios. What's possible? They're purely based on mathematics, because no one can make direct predictions. You can only calculate mathematically when something works based on the market cap. Let's start with the bear scenario. Here, Rollbit grows slowly. The entire crypto market also grows slowly. Here, prices between $0.06 and $0.1 are already possible. A slight increase, but not the maximum scenario. Then there's the normal scenario. Imagine the crypto markets recovering bit by bit. Rollbit keeps its market share, but introduces new features and becomes more and more relevant in the growing Gamblify sector. Then we're already landing between 11 and 19 cents. That's not a massive moonshot, but it's exactly what investors looking for solid growth want. And what about an optimistic scenario? If Rollbit gets more attention, especially more users, more bets, more utility, then the coin will be staked more often, bought more often. That means, on the one hand, the burn increases, the supply decreases, and at the same time the price rises because the coin is being used more and more. Then it would be possible to reach between 22 and 39 cents. And that's already a range that's much more significant for a portfolio. Now let's move on to the extremely optimistic scenario. And now imagine the entire crypto market experiences massive growth. Retail investors are coming back into the market, and of course, Rollbit benefits from that. It grows faster than the other altcoins, gets new use cases, maybe strategic partnerships, and a whole new public perception. Then we're talking about prices of 79 cents. That's almost $1. At that point, they're really in an extremely strong position, and an exciting altcoin for the future. So, what does it look like? Vision 2030. Here, Rollbit could become part of the new crypto world. Utility is more important than memes. Platforms create real value. Tokens that don't just speculate, but actually work. By 2030, Rollbit could be a true market leader in its niche, because the niche is extremely stable. It's growing and it's always being used. It will always be a topic for humanity. Here, for US dollars could be possible, purely based on mathematical calculations, of course. By the way, if you also want to know which altcoin is still completely flying under the radar and I've discovered it through my analysis, if you want all the data on it, check out the next analysis. All I can say is, even I was surprised by this altcoin. So, thanks for watching. If you don't want to miss any altcoin analyses, make sure to quickly subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.